What you eating?
Bacon.
Let's go eat. Good morning. Welcome back. Today we're going to do a what I eat in a day vlog. Haven't done one in a minute and I've had a very busy morning already. It's nearly 12 and I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'm actually quite hungry, but I have a million things to do today. I am in the middle of cleaning the house to get ready for fall decor. I know some of you aren't ready, but I am, you know, and you should just be happy for me. All right. Oh, what's in my coffee is the same thing as always, is the double shot espresso pod. I have an espresso machine. I just put it over ice with a splash of lactose-free milk and a few drops of my stevia drops and 2 drops of Lugol's 2% iodine for my thyroid health. If you're new, I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease where your body attacks your thyroid basically, but everything has been in remission for 4 years now, eating the way that I eat. And the way that I eat is a very personalized approach to meat-based keto, ketovore, whatever you want to call it. But I follow my own rules. I do not follow the rules of keto. I do not follow the rules of carnivore. I do not follow the rules of anything. I just go by what my body has told me. Over the years, I've used carnivore as an elimination diet to pick out the foods that cause me issues and the foods that don't. And I categorize them in red foods, yellow foods, and green foods. And today, with everything that I'm eating, I'm going to tell you what category those foods fall into so that you can see what my daily life looks like with those categories. Full spoiler alert, there's not a red. I don't eat red foods unless I am on vacation, and then I still pretty much don't eat red foods. I eat a higher amount of yellow foods than what I normally eat. So yellow foods are like, I can eat them sometimes, but not every day. Green foods I can eat all the time. Nothing bad ever happens, and they make up most of what I eat on the day-to-day. So with that being said, I'm gonna have breakfast, but it's not my usual breakfast because I'm in the middle of cleaning. I just cleaned the kitchen. I got dishes drying over here, so ignore that. Where can I put you? Here we go. Okay, so normally this is not something that I would eat for breakfast, but because life is lifing right now, I'm gonna have a protein bar. These are the protein bars that I use. They are from the brand Carnivore Bar. I do have a discount code with them. And the ingredients are grass-finished beef, grass-finished tallow, and grass-finished tallow, raw honey, plucked seasoning salt, and Redmond seasoning salt. So this is the honey barbecue flavor. This is my favorite one. Because it's such a small amount of honey, I don't really care. I don't eat honey for any other reason than it just tastes good in this particular flavor. But I'm not one of those people that like consumes raw honey every day. It's not part of my diet. I don't think raw honey is magical. I am a registered nurse, so I do think honey is great as a wound care treatment, but I don't eat it for any other reason. So there's 7 grams of carbs in this carnivore bar, 20 grams of protein, and 35 grams of fat. The fat is actually why I love these so much, because they are so high in fat. Low-key, I have to keep my fat a bit higher than some people might need to, just because I feel best when my fat is like a 1-to-1 fat to protein macro ratio, meaning like if I was to eat 120 grams of protein, I would also eat around 120 grams of fat. And then my carb count is usually under 20, sometimes under 10, always under 50. Unless, like I said, I'm on vacation or something like that, then maybe I might flex up to like under 100, usually under 10. So this is what they look like. This is pemmican. I don't really know how to explain it. Normally this is not a part of my day where I would be eating these. Most of the time I'm carrying them on trips, on flights when we are going on business trips and stuff like that, because the options at the airport are limited and also super expensive. So this is not cheap, but compared to what I find on the go, higher quality, clean ingredients, and reasonably priced when you compare it to something at the airport. Anyways, they're really tasty. I'm going to try a new recipe that I found on Instagram today at some point. But the first part of my day is going to be cleaning the house. And I'm also going to try to clean part of my lovely husband's office. We'll see how that goes. Oh, I'm going to update you guys on what I'm reading. Several of you messaged me on Instagram and was like, what happened to your book content, Nisha? And I'm going to be real honest with you. What happened was, Loki wants to go outside. What happened was, I started rereading all the Sarah J. Maas books because I had a theory and I wanted to reread to see if there were some more clues that supported my theory. If you're not an ACOTAR girl, if you're not an ACOTAR girly, if you haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you haven't read Throne of Glass, if you haven't read Crescent City, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But just trust me when I say it's a problem when you get that far involved with books and characters. And I don't even know how many there are altogether. It's a lot of books. Anyways, I had a theory. And so I reread all those books, and that took quite a bit of time. But now I am back to new books. Right now I'm reading The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. It's okay. It's not really what I signed up for. Just finished the Red Rising trilogy, which is sci-fi, but really feels more like, it doesn't feel sci-fi-ish. To me, it's more political. Very much like Hunger Games meets Dune. It's really, really good, but very much reminds me of Hunger Games, except for the main character in Red Rising is a dude. Most books I read are from a woman's point of view, and this is from well, it's third person, but the main character is usually a female in the books I read, and this book, the main character is a guy. And I didn't hate it. It was weird at first, but I got used to it. And I'm also reading an Audible book. I just started it last night. So I'm reading Lost Story on my Kindle, and I'm listening to Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, which I've read a book by Lisa Jewell before, and it was really good. Mystery thriller. Anyways, this is what I'm reading right now. Let's get to cleaning. All right, so this is what the situation looks like currently. It's not terrible, but it could be better, especially this area right here. So I'm gonna get cracking here. And then the kids' room. These are clothes I took out last night that don't fit them or are stained. Bonnie, worse than Beckett, stains her clothes. I don't really know how. It's a very messy baby. Anyway, so I'm gonna clean their room, get it reorganized, reorganize their bookshelves. Okay, I said I was going to try some new recipes today, but that was before my husband got on a podcast that was supposed to take 45 minutes and ended up taking nearly 3 hours. So, no, I'm not going to try anything new today. I'm going to show you, though, this recipe that I've been eating for like the last 3 weeks. And it's very simple, and it involves, this version can involve some yellow food, so I'm going to show you that. So this is the exact same pan I've been using for 2 days now that I cook my ground beef in. I do not see the point in washing it when I'm cooking the exact same meal over and over and over again. To me, It is just very well seasoned. So I'm making a taco bake, I guess is what we're gonna call it. So you need 3 pounds of ground beef. This is 80-20 ground beef, but you can use whatever you like, you know? It's up to you. You can modify recipes no matter what. If there's something in there that you don't like or you can't eat or you just think is disgusting, you know, you can pretty much take anything out. Recipes are adaptable. Unless you're baking, then nothing is adaptable, and you still, even if you follow the whole recipe, could mess it up. Baking is hard. There's some saying, I can't remember who said it, but like, cooking is art, baking is science, and that is so incredibly true. All right, so 3 pounds ground beef into my pot here. While that's heating up, I'm gonna tell you about something I'm excited about and probably 90% of you do not care about. But this is my channel, and I get to talk about what I like on my channel. So I just finished the book, The Lost Story, which is written by Meg Schaefer, who also wrote The Wishing Game, which I loved. The Wishing Game. I think I gave that 4.5 stars because it was super nostalgic. It's like Willy Wonka-ish and Chronicles of Narnia and Matilda, like a lot of the books I read when I was 11 or 12. It felt like that, but for adults with no smut or none. It was very appropriate for those of you who don't like smut. I don't judge anybody who likes smut. If you like it, cool. It's just not my thing. Anyway, it's very sweet, very nostalgic. She wrote this one, The Lost Story, and it was fine, but it was a recommendation from somebody on BookTube. And she really built it up to be very Chronicles of Narnia, and I did not find it that Chronicles of Narnia. It was fine. 3.5 stars. It was fine. And then as I was finishing that book, I got an alert on my phone from Kindle saying all these new books on Kindle Unlimited were available. And one of them is Fourth Wing. If you've ever watched my book stuff, I do have some book content on YouTube. Fourth Wing really catapulted me back into obsessive reading back in 2022. Whenever it came out, I read it when it first came out because it had dragons in it. And I was like, you know what? I haven't read anything dragony since Game of Thrones. And that, I mean, I read Game of Thrones a really long time ago. So sign me up. I read it. I loved it. It gave me all the things. It was emotional. I loved the characters. I loved the dragons. I loved the politics. It was good. I love Fourth Wing. Anyways, that's available now on Kindle Unlimited for free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So if you haven't read Fourth Wing and you have a Kindle or you have a Kindle app on your phone, you can read that for free. And then this other book was also put on there, and it had 87,000 4-star, 4.5-star reviews. It's called The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. It's a Sunday Times bestseller. It had a lot of reviews, so I was like, I'll give it a shot. This is the cover. So I'm going to start this now that I've finished with that one. And I'm also listening to an Audible book. I think I already told you that. But there were some few more other books that were on the new unlimited release, like for Kindle Unlimited. I took screenshots because I was like, oh my gosh, these are really good books. People can read these for free. That's amazing. So Fourth Wing was the first one. The Lost Bookshop is the one that I'm reading. I haven't read it yet, but it's 84,000 4.5-star ratings. #1 bestseller in women's historical fiction. I love historical fiction, so I think I'm going to really like this one. I have no idea what it's about. I'm going in completely blind, which is how I like to go into books most of the time. The Alchemist I haven't read, but that is also a bestseller with over 150,000 4.5-star reviews. And mystery and thriller, it's a super short. It's like a 2-hour mystery is what it's called. So that'll take me like an hour probably for me to read. The Last Mrs. Parrish just got put on there. Funny, because I just finished that before it was on Kindle Unlimited. It has 4.5-star ratings on here, but if you've read The Housemaid, it's the same book. It's basically the same book. So I didn't give it 4.5 stars because it's so similar that I was like, well, I already knew that was coming. So Handmaid's Tale, I read that in 2015 before the show came out. I read it when I was still working midnights in labor and delivery. And man, that book just blew me away. I was flabbergasted when I finished that book. I remember being in labor and delivery. It was like 2 a.m. and we didn't have anybody in there. It was a closed unit. It was just me. And I was like, oh my gosh, my mind has just been blown. If you have not read that book, read the book. It is very similar to the first season of Handmaid's Tale, the show. And then they just took creative liberties after that. Let's just put it that way. I like the show. I didn't finish it. I just got bored with it when it was like, whatever. I'm a huge fan of the book though. So that's also free on Kindle Unlimited. Lisa Jewell has a book on here, The Night She Disappeared. I like Lisa Jewell. I've read several of her books. They're mysteries usually. This one has 58,000 4.5-star reviews. And then Viola Davis's biography or autobiography. I guess it's a memoir. It doesn't really say. I think it's written by her, so probably a memoir. It's called Finding Me. I'm a huge fan of Viola Davis. In any role that she has ever played, she is outstanding. And then To Kill a Mockingbird is also on the list. Surely most of you have read that. If you haven't, it's a classic. But I've read that book 4 times probably over my life. And I just love it. It's one of the few books that has a movie adaptation that the book and the movie are both amazing in their own rights. Like 5-star movie, 5-star book. I will never get sick of that book. I will never get sick of Gregory Peck in the role of Atticus. I read the sequel to Kill a Mockingbird that Harper Lee came out with. It was not that long ago. It was okay. That wasn't great. So that's the ones that I'm either thinking about reading or I've already read and think that you guys should read if you have Kindle Unlimited. This is a great opportunity to read a book for free. It's just like renting a book from the library. You just borrow it and then you have so many days to read it and then it goes back to Kindle Unlimited. And I think there's a limit on how many books you can read from Kindle Unlimited. I've never reached my limit because I always buy books too. I don't read exclusively from Kindle Unlimited, but when there's new books that come out, I usually try to go through there and pick the ones that look interesting to me and read them on my Kindle. And it's also nice to always have a book from Kindle Unlimited on your phone for times like, so I was at the DMV, my driver's license expired last year, and I've just been walking around with an expired driver's license for a year nearly. And I didn't know. So I had to go get it fixed, obviously. And the DMV was crowded and packed. And in my head, I was like, I won't be there that long. Of course I was. I was there for quite some time. About, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes into sitting there, I was like, oh, I have a book on Kindle Unlimited on my phone. I can read. And so I just pulled out my phone and read until it was my turn. And that killed the time, just like that. So I still haven't finished the book that I started. It's a Freedom McFadden book. It's just not that good. It's called Devil Wears Scrubs. It's like a play on Devil Wears Prada, but it's in the hospital setting. It's fine. It's just not great. It's not great. Okay, so I'm cooking up this ground beef. And then I'm going to season it with taco seasoning. Like I said, today I've been very busy, and then when I thought I was going to have time, Ken kept talking and talking and talking as he does, which is fine. I'm sure the podcast will be amazing. He was talking to Ben Azadi on Ben's channel, so if you want to check that out, it should be up, I don't know, in the next few weeks or so. Anyways, I didn't have much time and I was starving because I just ate my carnivore bar this morning, and I almost ate another carnivore bar, but I was like, I don't want to eat a carnivore bar for lunch / dinner. I want some food. And yeah, anyway, so now I'm cooking this. So I am not going to make my own taco seasoning today. Today I'm going to have McCormick's taco seasoning, which in my opinion is the tastiest taco seasoning you can buy. And mostly clean ingredients. The only bad thing in here is cornstarch, and like it's probably not that much, and I don't care. You know, I'm not eating this with a spoon, right? So I use about 3 tablespoons of this for 3 pounds of, so like a tablespoon per pound of ground beef to season my ground beef. You can make your own taco seasoning. It's really not that hard. I'm busy. I still haven't cleaned the kids' room. And, you know, today was supposed to be a chill day for me. I was going to clean a little bit and then sit and read my book and vlog. And I don't measure, but like I said, it's about 3 tablespoons that I use in 3 pounds of ground beef. So I just shake it in there, eyeball it, stir it up. This is a weird thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. Does anybody else think taco seasoning smells like BO a little bit? Like just that first hit of it, it's like, whoa, it's a little BO-y. Is it just me? Maybe it could be just me. I'm weird. I have a weird sense of smell too. All right, so I put the seasoning in the ground beef. I'll show you. It's ground beef with seasoning. Nothing really groundbreaking with that, right? It's just ground beef with taco seasoning. It's taco meat. But once I'll get it all seasoned up, then I let it simmer for about 20 minutes. I put a lid on it and I just kind of let the seasoning really get into the meat. And then I get a baking pan. Hello, Loki. I get crap all the time because my cats are on the counter. Listen, you know, it's so disgusting. My kids are also gross, but nobody seems to care about that. Okay, I'm also going to add some homemade sofrito to my taco meat. So sofrito is a blend of garlic, tomato, peppers, onions, cilantro. There's a bunch of different ways you can make it. It's kind of like a family thing. Each family has their own way of making sofrito. So this is my grandma's version, my abuela's version. Uses a ton of garlic. And I put 2 tablespoons. Oh, that was way more than that. I don't know. I put how much I like. This is unnecessary to add. If you just like taco meat the way that it is, that's fine. I just add some, and I usually add it before I cook the meat. I just forgot today because I'm in a hurry. Anyways, it just kind of gives it a little more flavor. It tastes amazing. I love it, but totally unnecessary, especially for those people who hate cilantro. I can't relate. Cilantro is life. I love cilantro. Okay, so now I'm going to add the meat to the baking dish. And I'm gonna layer it with cheese as well. You can use whatever cheese you like. Normally I use a Fiesta blend from Walmart. I'm completely out and I just realized that. But you can use any cheese. You don't have to use cheese at all. You can just eat the meat as it is. It's amazing without adding anything to it, honestly. But this is really tasty, especially if you have people in your house who are not keto. You can really mess with them with this dish because it tastes so amazing. They're not gonna know it's keto. They're definitely not gonna think anything odd is going on because it tastes amazing. They're not gonna know. It tastes amazing. That's all they're gonna know. You can be like, I made Taco Bell bake. Or, you know, throw any word in there that makes them think it's not keto. They don't need to know. So you can either layer Egg Life tortillas in here if you are being very strict. Some people are. I am at maintenance. I'm not trying to lose weight. I don't have any triggers going on right now. I'm feeling amazing. And so these are a good option. So you just layer them in here, cheese first, then Egg Life. So today am gonna have a yellow food. Yellow meaning and when I say yellow, I mean not perfect, but is not gonna actually cause me any problem. I need a hair tie. Okay, so like I said, a yellow food for me is something that may not be perfect by other people's standards, but it doesn't actually cause me any issues, and I can have on occasion. So this is a yellow food. Some people are gonna freak out when they see these. If you were trying to lose weight, to be clear, or you were trying to eliminate things that cause inflammation because you are very sick, don't eat these. I am currently doing very well. I don't need to lose any weight, for me anyway. Some people might say differently. I don't know. These are fine. And I'm not going to eat the taco meat inside of the taco shells. I am going to layer them in the dish. I was supposed to put cheese down first. Do you see what I'm saying? It's been one of those days. All right. This also is a yellow food because it's bagged, already shredded mozzarella. This is not the best cheese in the world. This is very cheap cheese, and it has the non-clumping stuff in it, tapioca starch, right? Okay, but again, this is a yellow food. Use whatever cheese that you like. I'm telling you. How many people am I going to trigger just with this one vlog? I bet it's quite a few. Let's do a little bit more. Okay. So then I lay down the tortillas, or you can use egg life wraps, or you can not use anything. You can just eat the meat and it would be amazing. I do that most of the time. I've just been, I don't know, I threw this together one day and it was really good. All right, then I'm going to layer, can we call this Mexican lasagna? I'm going to call it Mexican lasagna. Taco Bell lasagna. Because it really reminds me very much of, like, do you remember Mexican pizzas from Taco Bell? What a weird thing, right? Mexican pizza. Doesn't even sound, that sounds so wrong. But I used to really love Mexican pizzas. And this reminds me very much of Mexican pizza. Because it's got the layers to it. And to be fair, it's much better than any Mexican pizza from Taco Bell could ever even hope to be. But it gives that vibe, you know what I mean? Whatever you need to tell your family to get them to eat this, to get on the path to feeling, you know, better without feeling like they're just giving up everything in their life, right? The people who get it, again. If you don't get it, I don't know, probably not the channel for you to be watching. Okay. A little more cheese. I don't even like this cheese, but it literally is the only cheese in my refrigerator. And I'm flipping hungry. Oh, I forgot to turn the oven on. Okay, turn your oven also. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Welcome to Nisha's channel. I'm definitely the most professional person cooking on YouTube. I can just tell you this right now. Number one. So total, I am using 4 tortillas, and I'm not even eating all 4 tortillas because they're layered in here with the meat and cheese. More meat. You could probably use deli meat too. You know how Maria Emmerich does her protein lasagna? You could do that with taco lasagna too. I bet you could do some sort of deli meat in here. That's a frito. Really add something to it. It smells so good. And make it, you know, with protein noodles, what she calls protein noodles, or it's deli meat. Spoiler alert, it's just deli meat. And then there you go, a little bit more cheese. Good. You could also top this with some black olives. I have done that in the past few weeks as well. And if you like black olives, it really adds a little something to it. But today I am lazy and I'm not going to chop up some Kalamata olives, which is what I have. You could definitely buy the cans of sliced black olives and use those. You could put something like diced tomatoes and peppers. You could put, what's it called? Oh, yeah, you could put Rotel in here, like whatever you want to do. Make it your own little Bob Ross it, okay? It's your painting. You make it however, you put a happy little bird in there if you want to. All right, now this is gonna go in the oven for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on how crunchy you want the tortillas to be, basically. Because the longer you leave it in there, the more like dehydrated they're gonna get and firmer. So it just depends on your taste. I usually leave it in there about 30 minutes, but every oven is different. Also, play around with it. 20 to 30 minutes though, 35 minutes max. All right, I'm gonna put this in the oven. Then I'm gonna start this new book, and I'll check back with you when it is ready to eat. I just realized that I did not add any salt to the meat because I just did a taste test. Definitely salt your meat. So I just sprinkled some salt on top of here. You can always add salt after the fact. You can never undersalt something. You can always add, because you can add salt, right? But if you add too much salt, then everything's messed up for, you've trashed it. So it's not that big of a deal, honestly. But just to be clear, I do salt the meat in the big pan before I put it in here. Cooking on camera, I promise you, it's not as easy as it looks. Okay, so I just filmed an Instagram reel. I'll put it in here for you guys to watch because it may be I don't know if it's the best one I've ever done, but it is by far and away the best sound I've ever used. This British woman, I guess, is in front of Parliament. I don't really know. Anyways, what she says is so on point, but at the last she says something about being a hermit, and I throw up my Kindle because, like, team hermit, okay? I like being a hermit. People are weird right now. I'm just staying in my lane. I'm just staying over here. I'm just cooking my meat. I'm just eating my food. Just playing with my kids. I'm not trying to do a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like, that was weird. I don't know. I feel like God didn't put me here to just, like, take on the world, you know? He just put me here to take on my world and be the best person I can be in my situations, in the people that I love, in my community, and that counts on YouTube, I think. I'm just trying to be helpful, okay? I'm trying to hurt anybody by cooking food that is real. Anywho, it's pretty funny. So if you're not following me on Instagram, maybe, like, go over there.
Nobody has the right to live their lives being protected from offence or from insult or from hurt feelings. It is an occupational hazard of living in society. And if you really can't take it, become a hermit.
Nice. This is ready. It looks amazing. Did I even show it to you? I don't even think. Y'all, I know. I'm so glad you know me. Okay, here is what it looks like. Now, I will say you need to let it sit because it's much better after it's like all the fat has settled and everything. So like 20 minutes on the counter to cool off, then cut it up and partake. So I'll check back when it's cooled off. Right, so now I'm in my British accent because I've been listening to that British lady talk on repeat while I made that reel. Of course, she's a little bit more posh than this current accent that I have right now. This is a bit more laddish. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyways, okay, so I'm gonna slap me some out here on a dish. And here's the special part, okay? You cannot even see my dish. I'm so good at YouTube. This doesn't need to be here anymore. It needs to be here. I haven't vlogged in a while. I've been doing way more sit-down videos, talking to you guys about stuff. Anyways, this is my homemade pico. I have a reel on YouTube. Well, I guess it's a short on YouTube. Why can't they all be called the same thing? I mean, I know why, but still, it's annoying. I make this a lot during the summer, not so much during the fall, winter. I'm excited for fall. I think I've already said that, but dang, I'm ready. I'm just gonna slap a few spoonfuls of that on top while I also spill some on the counter. And I'm gonna put a little more salt on here because, like I said, I didn't salt it at all. skipped right over that part. Redmond's salt as usual. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's have a bite. Let's have a bite. Yeah? This is awful. Not the food, me. Yeah! That's delicious. Trust me when I say no one knows this is keto. Especially if you're going to use the low carb tortillas. Come on. Come on. Nobody's going to know. The Egg Life wraps, I will say, they get pretty soggy. But when it's in a dish like this, it's almost, you can't really tell because it's going to be soggy anyways because of all the fat and everything. Happy tummy. So good. Okay, so clearly I'm not gonna eat all of this at one sitting, right? This is gonna be my meal for the rest of the day. So you're probably not gonna watch me cook anything else. And that is normal for me. I cook one thing and I cook double or triple portions of it, depending on what it is. And then I just eat for the rest of the day. Okay, listen. When I make a what I eat in a day vlog, I feel peer pressured into making multiple things because most people are watching those type of videos to get inspiration. If I'm just eating the same thing all the time, they're not that inspired. But this is real life. This is a lot of food. I can't eat it in all one sitting. I'm a tiny person. I'm 5'2.5". Give me the half. 112 pounds, okay? This is 2 days worth of food for me. I'll eat this today and I will eat it tomorrow unless my kids come home and they decide that they also want to eat it, which sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't. This is 2 days worth of food. This is meal prepping, Nisha style. Sometimes I just make the big pot of taco meat and that's all I make. Sometimes I cook a bunch of steaks up, chop them up, and that's what I eat. You know, I just don't see the point in making a bunch of different things throughout the day to have variety. I just don't. And that's me. You are you. And you do what works for you, and maybe you make this dish and 2 others in one day, and that's cool too. Okay. So anyways, I hope you liked this what I eat in a day, because I don't know, I might end it here. There's not much going to happen after this. It's 5:30 for the record. That's when I'm eating my first technical meal of the day, because my carnivore protein bar was, I don't even remember what time that was, but it was a while back. That's when I ate that. And this is my first real meal of the day.